Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
The Rock Review is thrilled to have on Southern Roots Rockers. They are singers, songwriters, multi-instrumentalists, Rebecca and Megan Larkin Poe. Thanks for coming on the show.
Our pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
You know, I got to bring this up to where you ladies are such overachievers to where most people seek out to have one album in a year. Oh no, during a pandemic, let's have 2 albums, which you did.
We've been talking about this today, and I think having been real road dog artists for the last 15 years, we're used to having somewhere to be, something to do. We're always pedal to the metal, man. So being home this year, we're like, what are we going to do with ourselves? And the answer was just get in the studio and stay there.
Well, you know, and I really love it though too that, you know, as talented as you both are, and also with your band, you know, Self-Made Man is like really a rockin' album, and you've got the full band and everything. There's so many great songs on there. I think one of my favorites is Holy Ghost. But you know, the whole album is incredible. But then you took a shift with the new album that came out this past November with Kindred Spirits, and it's like that is just like, you know, it reminded me of the old blues recordings where the 2 of you are sitting there with your instruments and just playing your favorite cover songs.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you like them both.
Yeah, that's what we were hoping people would feel. We wanted it to be very real, very stripped back, and it's just the 2 of us playing live.
It's got to be amazing though when you can both do that as well, because, you know, playing to each other's strengths with the slide guitar, with the vocals and everything going on. But, you know, the takes on the songs, you know, especially, you know, with the new acoustic album, to where you're willing to go and do some Robert Johnson.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's incredibly near and dear to our hearts. As you know, we're true students of the blues. The last few years, we've really dedicated a lot of time to educating ourselves on the traditions of blues music and going back and really scavenging through some of these records from the turn of the century that are just marvelous, just legendary artists, from Skip James to Son House, a lot of our favorites, of course, Robert Johnson. So being able to do a little brief snippet of Hellhound on My Trail is one of my favorite moments on the record.
You know, and all of the songs too, you know, listen to the whole album, which obviously I hope our viewers go out and, you know, buy it, download it, however they consume their music. But, you know, you did your own takes. I mean, you know, from Elvis to Lenny Kravitz to Phil Collins. I mean, it's like, you know, it's such a cool mixed bag of artists, but also of songs. And you guys really brought your own style to each of those songs.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a work in progress for the last, you know, handful of years. We started doing a video series on YouTube where we were doing these covers, and we had so much fun with it. And we sort of started using this cover series as a learning tool as songwriters. What better way to hone the craft of songwriting than to learn songs written by the greats, you know, just like learning guitar riffs of, you know, Eric Clapton or Stevie Ray. You know, you go back and you learn Jimi Hendrix solos. Why not go back and learn, you know, a Tom Petty tune or an Elton John song? These are people who know what they're doing with songs. So finally being able to make a recorded version of all of these songs that are very near and dear to our hearts as well, it just feels great.
Yeah, and we have a huge amount of respect for these artists, but also we kind of come at these songs as if they were our own, as if, you know, they were songs that we would have loved to have written. And so I think that's how we sort of speak these songs in our own voice. And so some of them are a good bit different from the original.
But, you know, I like that because to me, you know, it's like a lot of times, particularly as I'm sure you both agree, you can't really do better than Bo Diddley. Okay. You know, granted, I mean, George Thorogood brought his own version of Who Do You Love? Mm-hmm. But it's like, but that you guys took such a unique twist at it. I'm like going, and you're trying to go, oh my gosh, yes, this is a Neil Young song, but it doesn't sound like Neil Young.
It's fun. And, you know, music shouldn't be kept behind glass. Like, you need to allow it to live and breathe and be in the real world with us. And the fact that we are, you know, 2 females in the 21st century making music that was predominantly played by men, like, you just got to let it have your own perspective. So it's about doing something different, doing something unique.
You know, I want to bring up again your album that came out this summer, which I think it was certainly showing how, you know, women within rock and roll can rock and roll, you know, with Self-Made Man. And I think that was kind of, you guys were poking fun at that to where,
You know,
we can rock.
it's true. Some good-natured needling of the patriarchy, just a little bit, because it's true. Like, you know, we grew up listening to these classic rock records, and there are, of course, some real heavy-hitting female artists. But now we do need to be a part of that wave that's coming in. We're a droplet in that wave, man. It's crashing down of women coming into the rock world, and we're happy to be a part of it.
You know, I can't agree with you more, because I think so many, you know, incredible rock, you know, female artists over the years haven't really gotten the attention they deserved. And I'm so glad to see the tide turning and more female artists actually being acknowledged for the great musicians that they are. I got to bring this up. Some of our viewers may not know that both of you are classically trained, being raised in Atlanta, Georgia. But then it's like you've got that side of it, and then you've got your dad with all the rock and roll albums.
Exactly. We're so lucky that our parents, you know, are big music lovers and decided to let us take lessons from a very young age with the classical music, because it really was great ear training. It taught us how to practice. Like, classical music has done so much for us over the years, especially with you as a slide player playing violin with no frets.
Absolutely. I do think we had a bit of an unusual upbringing in that, yeah, we were classically trained and we did play in symphonies and quartets, but in our early teens, we just dropped our classical violin lessons cold turkey and went over to the dark side of bluegrass music. And so that's like almost two sides of a coin. So I think it kind of pulled us out of reading music from page and into the world of improvisation. And it really opened our eyes to the beauty of, you know, jamming on stage and roots music.
I think that's so well put, too, because I think, you know, a lot of people don't realize that so much theory, you know, musical theory comes out of classical, and it can be applied to any genre of music. And you know, you both have dabbled in, obviously done the classical music, but then just sort of the folk and, you know, the bluegrass and all that. And then, you know, in a past article I read, you really found your voice, you know, now with more of the roots, more of the Americana, and certainly a bluesy feel, which I'm a huge fan of, that you're integrating in more of your music. I got to bring this up too. It hadn't been bad, you know, in the past few years on how you both have been out on the road with like Elvis Costello, Christian Bush, Sugarland. We had Ray Wiley Hubbard on not long ago, and he was bragging about the two of you.
Our man, we love Ray Wiley.
So, I mean, how has that felt, you know, within, you know, really, you know, the steam that you both have gained with Larkin Poe in the past few years, obviously playing for so long, you know, and everybody thinks, oh, look, Larkin Poe's an instant success. They're in Vintage Guitar Magazine. Wow.
Yeah, we've been dogged, man. Like, we love making music, and we've not always been good at making music. Like, you got to start somewhere, you know? So at the very beginning of, you know, Level Sisters, we had a little bluegrass group with our big sister. Going back and watching some of that tape, you realize, oh my God, like, we sucked. We were really bad. But when you love something, and when that love stems from a really good-hearted place, and you stick with something, you know, it's really cool to see the progress that we've made over the years and the support that we have been given, the trust of artists like Elvis and having us in his backup band, or Keith Urban or Bob Seger having us come out and support him on his tour. You know, these are not opportunities that we take lightly. We're so appreciative of them. And having a fan base that has been willing to buy our records for the last 10 years and support us and sustain us and be there and dig what we're doing, it's like
It's almost enough to make you cry.
It's true. It's very emotional. It's a wonderful way to be able to make a living, and it's not something that's a given, you know. So we're very, very appreciative of the whole journey.
Besides two incredible new albums that you have out this year, what are you looking at for your plans going into next year? I know everybody's want to get back on tour. I'm sure you're going to be both doing your YouTube video still, virtual shows, maybe sometimes pedal giveaways and gear giveaways. I don't know. What are the plans?
Everything under the sun. That is something that we've really lent into in this year of 2020, is really connecting with people online. So for the new year, we're looking to do a lot more streaming shows, some more virtual hangouts, some more giveaways. And if people just hit us up on social media at Larkin Poe everywhere, they'll see what we're doing.
Well, I want to make sure too that they go out and buy the albums, because Self-Made Man came out this summer, and then Kindred Spirits. You know, if they want to download all of the songs. They're all incredible. What a great testament to some of the artists that you both grew up listening to, and more great stuff. Also, the YouTube channel. They have to follow Larkin Poe there.
You know it. We're always releasing new videos on YouTube, and we just recently started our new porch picking live stream series, where we just sit and hang out with people for an hour and change, and take requests and take calls, and people should come and join us. We're having a good time with that.
It's fun.
Well, I'll tell you what, congratulations on all of the success that you both experienced. I'm sure there's going to be more coming up, because I just love your music. I want to make sure our viewers go out and find your new albums. Rebecca and Megan, Larkin Poe, thank you so much for coming on the Rock Review.
Thank you, Eric.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.